It's December vlog. What has been happening in December? The month where you can be socially busier than you have ever been for the entire rest of the year, more exhausted than you ever felt, and just sort of like always feeling as though you're scrabbling to keep up until you get to that weird place where, spoiler alert, we are now Twixtmas, where you are between Christmas and New Year and you lose all sense of time and meaning, which seemed like a great idea, a great time to fire up the camera and talk to you. Because December has been an interesting month for me because I came off social media on the 1st of December. And by social media, I specifically mean Instagram, because I was losing a lot of time to Instagram. It was a real time suck for me. And I thought about not using it, and it seemed nigh on impossible. And that was when I realised that, well, this is absolutely something that you have to do now, because if you think it's impossible, you can't just accept that. You have to do something about it. So with a little bit of a run-up and with huge amounts of trepidation, I deleted the Instagram app from my phone. And I think here is the actual moment where I did it. It's happening, it's December 1st, and rather than opening an advent calendar, I am deleting my social media apps. And it feels genuinely really quite, I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now, I promise. Delete. Remove Instagram, remove app, delete app, delete app. Gone. And the biggest surprise of all is that it was very easy to not to use Instagram. I thought it would be a lot harder, given how impossible a task I thought it would be, but within 3 days, I just realised I wasn't missing anything vital from not consuming content through Instagram. With that said, I did not delete TikTok from my phone, because actually I used that to almost as a search engine to look for videos on how to cook something or how to fix something that might be broken. In the main, I do use it for some other purposes, but in the main that's what I use it for. And I had intended to delete TikTok, but I decided not to, because there were so many times when I thought, oh, I really want to double check that recipe that I think I know and I've done before, but I'm just going to go to the creators page, the nutritionist page, or whoever it was, and just double check the recipe. So Instagram specifically was something that I very quickly realised it was a good thing for me to just detach from, for a couple of reasons. First of all, my work and my social life exist on Instagram, and that means that if I am not participating in something, I can get FOMO. Even if it's not about being at that particular thing, I think I should be doing something like it. I feel constantly as though I am not catching up with people who I'm close to in my life, but at the same time I'm completely up to date with what's happening because they're sharing on social media. And also I realised that because a lot of the people who are my friends, the work social thing is very blurred, I will go on social media on a Saturday afternoon, on a Sunday evening, I will see somebody doing something and I'll think, oh, that's a good idea. And then without realising it, my work brain is just constantly whirring, essentially. So it was really good for me to detach, because I didn't have any of that stimuli. I didn't have any of those things saying, you should be doing a makeup tutorial, you're drying your hair without filming it, fool, all of that kind of stuff. And then secondly, I thought about the way that I will start to post content when I do come back to Instagram in January, because I started Instagram probably 7-8 years ago, and it was very much then about, this is what I'm doing, and oh, I've got a podcast, and it was never strategic, it was never particularly thought out, it was just posting and seeing what landed. And the unfortunate thing about the algorithm is that when you do something that looks quite vain, so a selfie or a little thing where you're putting on some makeup, you tend to get more engagement than if you put together a post with a clip of a podcast you've put together. Now, one takes not a lot of effort and time to create, but gets seen by a lot more people. The other one can be months of trying to get a guest, hours of research, hours of editing, and yet it just absolutely bombs. And it means that you can feel pulled just by the algorithm to keep serving what does well. But I've rethought my strategy a little bit, having had a bit of space to think, well, what do I want to come back and what do I want to share? My objective has always been to create content that I think will be helpful. And I have spoken about things like hair loss, acne, two of the things, hair loss is something that I have more recently been able to manage and have seen improvement with, but acne when I was a teenager and a young adult, also weight, body image, eating disorder, that sort of thing. And I think I would like to lean into that a bit more, which is kind of at odds with what have felt previously, which is don't bang on about it, but at the same time, I haven't posted anything really about my hair loss in a year. I'll do the occasional story with product recommendations, but anything detailed about my experience, and people still message me about those videos. So, or I get messages saying, where can I find your hair loss videos? So I realise that actually I do need to be giving people what they want, and the thing I get the most messages about is hair loss, weight and body image and diet, and general beauty and fashion, to be honest, but much less in that arena, particularly the fashion stuff. I mean, look, I've never claimed to be a fashion expert. But anyway, I want to be more mindful and more journalistic, because that's my background. I'm a trained journalist, about the content that I put out, rather than just responding to what I think the algorithm wants. I would rather respond to what people seem to want. People being the lovely people who follow me, listen to me, watch me. So those are sort of the realizations and revelations. But also what's been really interesting this month is I said not documenting. I have been documenting things, but I haven't been posting immediately. So on the 1st of December, I actually had a facial with Michaella Bolder. Now, I've previously said I'm not a big fan of facials because I've had many through the years that have been very plinky-plonky. Plinky-plonky meaning there's plinky-plonky music on in the background, and they spend 15 minutes taking off my eye makeup or my makeup with far too much cotton wool, and I just think, well, I know how to effectively cleanse at home in under 60 seconds, so this doesn't feel luxurious, it feels like you're just wasting my time. So I have a bad attitude about facials. But I had an Orveda facial recently, which was really, really beautiful in terms of the manipulation with the fingers that Magali, the therapist, did in terms of sort of sculpting a little bit, but also really working the product into the skin, rather than just sort of a nice little massage. It felt much more intentional. And Michaella Bolder, and I'm going to cut in some footage now of me having the treatment. Michaella has the Boulder method, hashtag the Boulder method, and I had been hearing incredible things about this method for a long time, because I had heard from people like friends and colleagues like Lisa Potter-Dixon that she could really release tension from the jaw, that she could really relax your masseter muscles, which I'm a clencher, I'm a grinder. I sometimes find those can get very uncomfortable. But also, I then went on a press trip with Longcom, and she did a masterclass where she just walked people through some techniques that she uses, and even things like she was guiding us to just manipulate our eyebrows a bit, and you realise how much tension you hold in your eyebrows, and when you actually touch certain positions on your face, certain little spots, you can feel the pain of, like, if you were having a back massage and they went over a tight bit, it's like that in your face. And so I wanted to book in with her. And she very kindly gifted me this treatment, said, look, I'd like you to experience it. You've obviously shown an interest. And also the thing she said to me when she worked on me for about 30 seconds, just when I was sitting in the chair at this Longcom masterclass, she said, oh, you've got quite a good pain threshold. And so I thought I'd be able to stand it. Now I could. And I thought the treatment was flipping incredible, because I really felt my face relax in a way that I didn't realise it was holding tension. But actually, a couple of days before, I'd done a chest or upper body workout, and so when I'm lying there, and I think you can see it now, she's working across here, and I am flinching, and she's like, don't fight me, don't fight me. So there's a little bit of that with that treatment, in the sense of she's going to really work that tension out, but there are going to be moments when it is not comfortable. There are going to be moments where you have to really breathe through it. But I came out of that treatment just thinking, this is something so special. This is something really incredible. And I was trying to talk to her. I was like, this is a calling for you, isn't it? And it absolutely is. You can just tell when someone's working on you and they want you to come in one way and they want you to leave feeling a certain way. It's not a box ticking exercise. So she didn't ask me much, but I could feel her just sort of assessing through her fingertips. And then she was like, right, I know what you need. So I was really, really impressed with it. She does a thing where she puts on a glove and she manipulates inside your mouth, and that was not the most comfortable thing I've ever experienced, but I really felt the benefits of it, and I just thought it's the kind of thing that I would definitely have again. And I didn't think or ask actually about what skincare she was using. All I really cared about was how my face felt different, how everything felt lighter and softer, and I wasn't sort of as pinched as sort of all of this going on. I just kind of which was incredible. So it's a strong recommend for me. But I took some pictures at the time, I took some video at the time, but it was quite nice to sort of enjoy it and not feel an immediate knee-jerk reaction to what are the hashtags, add this, that and all of those things, which obviously I will post when I post it, but it was just nice not to sort of to have a little bit of a breather. And then truthfully, I went to 3 Christmas dinners in a row for work. So on Monday night, it was Garnier every Christmas do the most beautiful, beautiful Christmas dinner at the River Cafe. It's one of my highlights of the Christmas season, I have to say. Food is incredible, but it's always a lovely group of people. And I was sitting next to Michael Douglas, opposite Michael Douglas, who's been on the podcast recently, who we got on really well on the podcast, and it was just really nice to like hang out in real life. Alex Steiner was on one side of him, Nadine Baggett was on the other side, so great dinner party chat. Harinder from Garnier was on one side of me. I also had Laura Murdoch-Smith from Vogue, and I was intrigued by her house renovation. Oh my God, honestly, if you're not following her, please go and look at that, that's amazing. But it was just a lovely evening. And then Tuesday evening was the Skin Rocks Christmas party, which is at the Serpentine, which, my goodness, what a party. And I realised by then, I think they were the second week in December, I didn't even have the reflex to pick up my phone and start taking things. And when I'd see people filming, I was like, oh, I feel really bad, I should be doing this. Oh, but I just thought, oh, I'm just going to enjoy the moment. I'm just going to enjoy the moment, but not share it, which felt terrible. There's one picture that Claire Coleman, who I was sitting opposite, I was sitting next to Caroline, Claire Coleman was opposite me, Anita Bagwandes was opposite me, sorry, Claire was diagonally opposite me, and Katie from Skin Rocks was next to me, who's amazing. So I was very, very lucky with my table mates. We just had a brilliant, brilliant evening, but I did feel bad. I was like, should I be taking more video or more pictures? But I just tried to enjoy the night. And then the third event, well, and I thought, oh my gosh, I just don't have it in me. Imagine being that much of a diva or princess. I don't have a third Christmas dinner in me, but I was brave. I went to, I'm joking obviously, it's a real privilege. I went to the Inky List, had a Christmas dinner, and I sat next to Adiola, who, brilliant makeup artist, absolutely phenomenal. We had a lovely chat about Christmas dinners, and also Colette and Mark from the Inky List, just excellent. So it was just really nice to hang out with incredible people, but I was just really bad and I didn't take any pictures. And I took like one of me holding a drink, but that's not shareable. Anyway, that's all to say that I had a great December, but I was glad to sort of take my foot off the Instagram pedal, as it were, so that by the time my birthday came around, which is the week before Christmas, I didn't feel that thing of, oh, I should do something for my birthday or flag that it's my, who cares? And then Christmas, I think I took 2 pictures, one of a pie that I made, because it was the first time I ever made pastry from scratch. And it was all right, but I need practice, or I just need to make sure that I put pre-made pastry on my, or find it in the shops or put it on my online shopping. And it was just very nice to just take a little bit of a step back. So my learning from this is that sometimes you don't realise how not all-encompassing, you might not necessarily realise that being on a platform like Instagram is taking up as much brain space as it is. I know people use the terms like, oh, I'm just so busy at the moment, I've got too many mental tabs open, that kind of thing. But I realised in taking a step back from Instagram that Instagram is like background app refresh at all times. Because even though you might not necessarily realise it, something happens and you immediately, should I post it? Or something happens, should I take a picture of that? And it's sort of, it's always a little bit of a prompt that's constantly whirring. Like, oh, I slept well this morning, oh, I wake up in the morning, I slept really well, should I document that? No, that sort of thing. And nothing, like, Instagram didn't explode, my Instagram didn't explode for me not posting. So it's a good lesson that sometimes, and I've learned this lesson before, and then I forget this lesson a lot. Sometimes if you're grabbing onto something too tight to make it happen, or you're grabbing onto something too tight and trying to make something work, actually the best thing you can do is not push harder or work harder, it's actually to sort of release a little bit. Not in every instance, there's obviously going to be different things, but I have found that when I start to get panicky about things, or I just wanted to do this, and let's try this, let's throw that at it, sometimes that's when you're kind of, that's your sign to back off, have a bit of space, recalibrate, consider everything with less panic, and then make some decisions. So it was really, really wonderful. And I also discovered some, well, not discovered, but I would almost say sort of like we fell in love with some products, but also did discover some new ones. So I'm going to share those with you now. So first up, Arkive. Now, Adam Reed, who is the creator of Arkive Hair Care, has been doing my hair since 2003, on and off. He is the creator of this rich, robust, jean grey hair colour, and he has always been very good at giving me advice about styling my hair, particularly when my alopecia was much more pronounced. And one of the things that I have really used of his a lot since it launched is this Arkive. This is the Prologue. This is basically primer. So it's a hair primer that protects, smooths, helps your hair hold a style. And the thing I like about it the most is that when you spritz it, I mean, my hair's obviously dry now, so it's kind of daft for me to do it, but it has such a fine mist. Sometimes with hair products, I feel like you're just sort of like, you have to spray it but then distribute it, because the mist is, or the spray is so sort of thick or blocky, or more like a sort of an aggressive drip, whereas this is very, very fine and you feel as though you are coating all of your hair, and you can be quite liberal with it. And so I have been finding, since I have been using this again, because I ran out and then didn't replenish my stocks, I got some more, and I have just found that my hair feels very soft, smooth, and less likely to tangle and pull, which is important for me, because even though my hair has grown really long, now this is long for me, partly because of my hair loss treatment with Philip Kingsley. I want to be very mindful of not snagging it, not doing anything that means that it needs a lot of brushing. I mean, I actually try to brush my hair as little as possible, which you can probably tell. Anyway, so I just think it's a strong recommend, and it's on the high street and it's really affordable, and you can be liberal with it and you can get great results, and it smells delicious. Adam is a real fragrance fanatic, and he was very considered when he put together the fragrance, and it's really, really beautiful. I love it. This is a new one though, so this is Bibbi. Bibbi is a fragrance brand that I got sent this sample. This is The Other Room. I got a lovely note saying, we've picked a fragrance for you that we think you're going to love, from the PR, Lovely Friday agency who I work with. And this is the sort of more sampley size. And this is very much in that kind of sexy, musky, more masculine sort of wheelhouse or sort of arena that I love. But I was so taken with this, and I love the packaging, I love the bright blue. I was so taken with this, and I started reading the descriptions of the fragrances, some of their other fragrances, and they very kindly, these are just little 10 milliliter, I think they're 10 milliliter little samples. And there's Pistachio Game, which I really enjoy too. Probably not something that, it's quite sharp. There's sort of a green, it's sort of almost like a wheatgrass green shot sort of instant hit that you get. And then Radio Child was the one that when I looked at the description, I thought, I think that's quite me. And then Ghost of Tom I was wearing yesterday, absolutely love. Now, the only thing I would say is I went to the website, and I've had this a few times with fragrances, where I just want you to tell me what it smells like. And the thing is, when fragrance houses put top, middle, base notes on the page, like, this is what's in it, I can't decipher that. I don't know necessarily what it means. I'm not that literate in fragrances. I would rather, there's a great website called Fragrantica, and I enjoy looking up a fragrance on there because it colour codes the different notes, and it will show you what, like, if it's, say it's a rose scent, there'll be a pink rose, then there might be a little bar underneath that's sort of creamy for vanilla, then there might be something for powder, then there might be so the difference, so you can go, okay, I understand that. And then when you begin to wear more fragrances and you check against Fragrantica, you can go, oh, actually, I understand there's a pattern here. I tend to like things that start like that and have that underneath, so that I find really helpful. So I wish I could describe these to you, but Fragrantica don't have them up online yet, so as soon as they do, I'll be able to be a little bit more, oh, it smells a bit like a wheatgrass shop, which, I mean, I also think fragrance is subjective, so, but I would say that each of them is a beautiful concoction. So if you are a fragrance fanatic and are interested in a new brand, it would be a wise move to pop to Liberty and check out the counter, because you'll obviously be able to have the experience of smelling them and having your own memories unlocked that they might sort of, I don't know, trigger. Anyway, so those are two things that I have just been using religiously recently. Now, I'm actually going to do an Instagram post on this because I am, quite frankly, I think it's insanely good. So this is a toiletry bag from Stackers, and I travel not a lot, but when I do, it tends to be for 1 or 2 nights. Packing for 1 or 2 nights can require the same sort of time, effort, and sometimes quantity of stuff as going away for a week. I struggle to I struggle to pack light. And one of the things I really struggle with is toiletries, because I like my toiletries, but because I find that no bag really does the job. Like, you've got a big wash bag, everything gets thrown in, and you have to sort of pull everything out in order to find the one thing that you need that has always nestled its way to the bottom. Or they're too small, or like the Space NK ones are amazing because you can see through them, they're great. But this actually has an insert, which is not in front of me now, but this actually has a clear, I'll show you. So back from the other room, so this has a clear travel insert, which is a generous size that fits really nicely inside. But obviously it's got the hook, so you can hang it on the back of a bathroom door. And in addition to having this, which is really handy for your skincare, there's a really generous amount of space in here. So you can fit your deodorant in, progesterone cream, Trini London, but then there are all these elastics so that you can slot things in. So I wear contact lenses, so when I went away over Christmas, I had my contact lens solution tethered in there. I had my case for my contact lenses. Those are my little incidental brushes. In the front section there, I've also got in there my eye drops. I wear contact lenses, my eyes get a bit dry. Then in here, you can have whatever you want. Then obviously there's another compartment there. I actually didn't need to use that, weirdly. And then in the back, there's another zip compartment, and I filled mine with some 111 Skin rose gold illuminating mask, which are really, really beautiful, that I got in the Space NK advent calendar. So this to me is just an absolute essential. I've got it in black. So I will tell you what else I had in here. I had my wet brush. I have my shampoo and stuff because of my hair loss treatments in a different bag, but I would get a second one actually for those. I also had, what else did I have? Like toothpaste, electric toothbrush case went in there. It was really, really packed, and yet still did up really nicely. It's got a little hook there if you need it, but it does have that on the back of the door. I would also, if it had little metal hooks there, I would put a crossbody bag chain on that and wear that to go through an airport. it's so, so handy. So those are my top tips for basically amazing things. And just stuff that I've been enjoying in December without sort of any rush to, "Oh, I must post this," or "I'll use this because then I can post about it," which I'm going to try and switch gears on that a little bit. And again, come back to not why I joined Instagram in the first place, because Instagram was kind of this social media platform that everyone was using. But why I started writing, essentially, working on magazines in the first place, which was to create the kind of content that somebody would find helpful. Now, if it's one person who finds it helpful, great. If a million people find it helpful, fantastic. But coming back to that, rather than, as I said, kind of, it can be really galling to put a lot of time and effort into a post and then for it to just reach absolutely nobody. But better that than to just put out something that, just to catch likes. I don't know, we'll see. A little bit of a break has been good. Maybe I'll think more on it. Maybe I will change all of my thoughts and feelings about this once I'm back to posting in a few days. Please do make sure you're following me. I'll put the link to follow me in the caption. Nearly said show notes then, that's the podcaster in me. So that's December. I hope you enjoyed Michaella. That was a really special. I floated for a good few hours after that, and then I came home afterwards and just sat really quietly, and I was like, wow, that was really nice. That was really, really nice. She's a very special, you know, those people who, it can be anybody that you just sort of get that one-on-one time with. Perhaps, I don't know who it might be, but you just sort of think, okay, this person really cares. That's what I took away from Michaella, and also the fact that my cheeks look lifted. I looked more sculpted, but also, crucially, like this part of my face just felt like a valve had just been, I mean, with some effort, like, you know, an old rusty outdoor tap that really needs you to give it it felt like that had been done to especially my jaw. So if you are interested, definitely go and follow her. I'll put her Instagram in the caption, because she's got something really special about her. So she's well worth following and taking a look at, and she teaches her method as well. She doesn't gatekeep, so you can pick up tips from her Instagram as well, which is fantastic, because treatments aren't inexpensive, but learning the tricks, and I've been using some of her techniques over the Christmas period just to kind of relax my face when I felt like it's getting a bit pinched again. So and they do work. So that's it. That's December. It's been fun. I hope you've had a great one. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like any more product recommendations, or you would like a bit more in depth on anything that I've discussed, products, Instagram, absences, then just let me know, just comment below, because I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.